Coming up on Razorback 411, the Arkansas cross country teams are set for the postseason. We'll chat with senior Grace Hemsfield. Soccer player Margaret Power has some fancy footwork on the field, but she has even bigger plans off of it. And golfer Taylor Moore was born to be a hog. Razorback 411 starts right now. Welcome to Razorback 411. I'm Megan Bedenikovic.
And I'm Ty Richardson. Thanks for joining us.
It's been an interesting fall here on the Hill for Razorback sports, but one thing hardly ever changes. The cross-country teams are dominating the competition.
With regionals beginning tomorrow here in Fayetteville, it's their chance to qualify for nationals in front of their home fans. It's the NCAA South Central Regional. It's tomorrow at Ag-Ride Park right here in Fayetteville. The women's race begins at 11 in the morning with the men's following at noon. The ladies are three-time defending champs, while the men have won it the last 2 years. The qualifiers move on to nationals, which is November 22nd in Indiana.
Both squads would love to repeat what they did at the SEC Championships 2 weeks ago in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The men won their fifth straight conference title. They were led by Stanley Kabeni, who won the 8K race in 23 minutes and 49 seconds. After finishing second last year, this is the seniors' first conference championship. Here's how some of the other Hogs did. Gabe Gonzalez finished in fourth with a time of 24 minutes and 26 seconds. Junior Cale Wallace and Alex George, who's a freshman, and sophomore Aiden Swain also contributed to the Razorbacks' victory.
As for the women, the race was once again dominated by junior Dominique Scott. She won her second straight conference title, becoming just the sixth woman in SEC history to do so. Her time of 19 minutes and 22 seconds is the second fastest in meet history.
Senior Grace Hemsfield finished right behind Scott in 19 minutes and 32 seconds. Jessica Camilos came in 7th, followed by Diane Robison in 10th and Shannon Klenke in 12th.
We mentioned Hemsfield finishing second in the SEC Championships.
That's nothing new for the Elkins, Arkansas native. She has been stellar since she walked on campus 5 years ago.
After a record-breaking high school career, she made the SEC All-Freshman team in 2010. She redshirted in 2011 and then came back strong, making SEC first team as a sophomore, junior, and again this year, in both 2012 and 2013. Grace is also a two-time region selection. She's majoring in dietetic and nutrition, and her father teaches engineering at the U of A. Let's get to know Grace a little bit more.
She's standing by with Brady Escovedo. Brady?
Thanks, guys. I'm joined with Grace Hemsfield. Grace, like they said, your dad is a teacher here in the engineering department. What is that like to have him on campus with you?
It's really been great, and to be honest, coming into college, I wasn't super excited to think about running into my dad between classes, but it's really just been the biggest blessing, just going by and having lunch in his office if I need to, and running into other civil engineering faculty that have always just been so supportive of my running and everything that's been going on in my life since they've known me since 4th grade. So it's been really unique, and I'm really grateful to have had that here in college.
You were an engineering major, and now you're dietetics and nutrition. What made you switch?
I wanted to give engineering a shot because I knew I was good at math and science, and to be honest, like many freshmen, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I thought, well, my dad's an engineer, and I like biology, so I'll try it. And then found my true passion in nutrition about halfway through my freshman year.
So what do you plan on doing with that passion, go on to do your job?
Eventually, because of my dad, a lot of it, but I would like to teach dietetics and nutrition, but I'll get my master's degree in public health nutrition and hopefully my doctorate, get some work experience, and then hopefully teach just like my dad. So.
All right, so the big race is tomorrow. It's
yes.
regionals at home,
yes.
and y'all are favored. What do you think
yes.
your chances are going to be?
Well, regionals is a unique race. Really, the point of regionals is to get to nationals. So obviously we go into every meet with a competitive mindset, wanting to win, but ultimately the goal is to qualify for nationals, which is next week. So keeping in mind that we want to do our best at nationals, not at regionals. So this will be a very team-oriented race tomorrow. We're going to run more so with team goals tomorrow than individual goals. But we're excited, and we're excited about the cold weather. Terre Haute, Indiana, if we make it, it's going to be cold. So this is perfect practice for that. So we're embracing it.
That is true. I'm going to go the more personal route. What goes through your mind when you run?
Oh, goodness. Well, when I'm running, my main goal is to keep negative thoughts out because, as anyone knows, running is not super enjoyable, and that's not any less true for runners sometimes. So I'm definitely, when I'm running in a race, trying to find my teammates because I am comfortable with them. I practice every day with them, so I know that I'll be more comfortable in the race if I can find them and thinking of them and just keeping positive thoughts going. I can do this. I've done this in workouts over and over again, things like that.
So when you go on to graduate and go get your doctorate and do all the things you want to do you think you'll continue to run every day?
I think I will always be a runner. It will just be very different. It'll be a lot more laid back, I think, and a little more leisurely, but I look forward to seeing what that's like.
All right, so far in your 5 years here at the U of A, what has been your best memory?
Oh, gosh. There's so many great memories from my time in Fayetteville, but what was really special in indoor season just last year was winning that national championship with the distance medley relay. Obviously, a national championship is extremely special, but what was really more special was just how close the girls on that relay were as friends, and it was a great experience. So that's probably my favorite memory.
Well, thank you, Grace.
Thanks, Brady.
Thanks, guys. Back to you, Ty and Megan.
Thanks, ladies. Still to come on Razorback 411, a conversation with men's golfer Taylor Moore, and we'll have our roundtable discussion.
But up next, we turn our attention to soccer. As we go to break, here's our first trivia question. Who's the all-time leading goal scorer in Arkansas women's soccer history? Your choices are Ruthie Miller, Julie Williford, Ashley Ellenwood, or Mary Howard. The answer when we come back. Welcome back to Razorback 411, and now the answer to our trivia question. Who's the all-time leading goal scorer in Arkansas women's soccer history? The answer is Julie Williford with 44 goals from 2000 to 2003. Junior Ashley Ellenwood has 30 goals right now. She'll have next year to try to catch Julie. The Razorback soccer season isn't over just yet. For the second straight year, the Hogs have made the NCAA tournament. Their first round game is tomorrow night in Norman, Oklahoma against the Sooners. Last season, the team beat Oklahoma State and St. John's before losing to Duke in the Sweet 16.
It was an up-and-down regular season for the Razorbacks. Let's take a look at how it went. The Hogs finished 8-6-6 overall and 4-4-3 in SEC play. That was good for fourth in the SEC West. They lost to Georgia in the first round of the SEC tournament. Alexander Fisher led the team with 6 goals, while Ellenwood was tops in the entire SEC with 13 assists. Goalie Cameron Carter made 91 saves this season, good for second in the SEC. She also had 6 shutouts.
Before the Hogs play in the NCAA tournament tomorrow night, let's take a look back at some of the great moments of the regular season. In the third game of the year against Oklahoma State, Ellenwood knocked in the deciding goal with 2.5 minutes left. That helped the Hogs get to 3-0 early in the season. That was one of 5 goals for Ellenwood this year. A month later against Kentucky, Tyler Allen put it in from about 40 yards out in double overtime to knock off the Wildcats and start a huge celebration at Razorback Field. The senior from Plano, Texas ends her great career second all-time in games played and third in assists at Arkansas. Then last week, down 1-0 to Georgia in the SEC tournament with less than 2 minutes to go, Erica Miller one-times it into the corner for the game-tying goal. The Hogs would end up losing in a shootout, but still a great moment for the sophomore from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Soccer is certainly important to these ladies, but they all know eventually the games will end and will be time to go to work. Blair Peterson joins us now with the story of one player who has big plans for the future. Blair?
Even though she is a senior academically, Margaret Power is only a junior athletically, meaning she could come back to Arkansas and play one more year of soccer. But she has decided against that. As soon as she graduates in May, she'll be heading to medical school to continue her dream of being a doctor.
Margaret Power, a native of Bentonville, Arkansas, is a redshirt junior on the women's soccer team. For the fans who come out to the games, they see her as a strong defender. Little do they know what she does when she takes those shin guards and cleats off.
I definitely knew coming in it would be extremely tough to balance the two.
Being a Division I student athlete is a commitment in itself, but she has taken on more. Along with the full schedule of games and practice, Power has a 4.0 GPA as a biochemistry major.
Ever since I was a kid, science has always been a passion of mine, and so I knew right away that I wanted to major in biochem or biology or chemistry, and I thought biochem was a perfect mixture of the two.
Her schedule varies day to day and from season to off season, but between school and soccer, she's always busy.
I mean, it varies so much. I really don't have just a super set schedule besides the fact that school and soccer are definitely keeping me busy all the time. School work just has to come in between. I don't know how to put it. I just work until I get it done.
Overwhelmed is a feeling that she is very familiar with, but as a senior, she's grown to get used to it. The other obstacle comes with the ups and the downs of the season and the mental aspects of it all.
At the same time, they're two completely different worlds, and so in my head it's really easy to compartmentalize them both, so I can switch in and out of soccer and school mode relatively easy.
If she isn't already busy enough, she's also a member of the Chi Omega sorority.
Honestly, Chi has been such a huge support system and has been played such a huge role in the balance of things and keeping me balanced.
Ultimately, Margaret wants to be a trauma or general surgeon or join the program Doctors Without Borders. But with the competitiveness of the medical field, she would also be content with family practice. Her experiences on the field, in the classroom, and in her sorority, along with the people around her, keep her going in hopes of a successful medical career.
In school, I'm surrounded by peers that push me to exceed, not just for the sake of success, but knowing that the career that I have is going to make a difference.
As if she's not busy enough, Margaret also works part-time at Walmart, where she's a pharmacy technician. She says her number one choice for medical school is the University of Arkansas Medical Center, which is located in Little Rock. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Blair. Still to come, our roundtable discussion. But up next, we'll get to know men's golfer Taylor Moore.
But first, trivia question number 2. Who's the only Arkansas men's golfer to win an individual national championship? John Daly, David Lingmerth, R.H. Sykes, or Ken Duke? The answer is next.
Welcome back to Razorback 411. Now the answer to our trivia question. Who is the only Arkansas men's golfer to win an individual national championship? The answer, R.H. Sykes in 1963. R.H. came to the U of A from Paris, Arkansas, and was inducted to the Arkansas Golf Hall of Fame in 2002. This year's version of the men's golf team just wrapped up its fall season.
The guys enjoyed some beautiful sights when they opened up in gorgeous Pebble Beach, California, and ended in sunny Florida.
Let's take a quick look at how the season went. They competed in 4 tournaments overall, with their best place being 5th at the Jerry Pate Invitational in Alabama. Junior Taylor Moore continues to play well. This season, he finished in the top 20 in 3 of the 4 tournaments. As for his career, he's done that in more than half of the 30 events he's entered. While he was highly recruited coming out of high school, it's not too big a surprise Moore ended up being a Razorback.
His parents met when both were students here at Arkansas. His mom was a cheerleader and his dad played baseball. With more on that and other things, we send it over to Ellen Hain, who's standing by with Taylor. Ellen?
Thank you, Megan and Ty. So Taylor, with both of your parents coming here, did you really have an option?
Yeah, I did. I had pretty open recruiting. My parents didn't want me to be too biased toward Arkansas, so I had a pretty open recruiting. I looked at schools from West Coast to East Coast, all over, just wanted to find the best fit for me.
And I'm sure being from Edmond, Oklahoma, you know, it's probably a really good drive too. It's not too far away.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours to get home whenever I need to, which is nice.
So tell me what your best experience here at the University of Arkansas so far has been.
I mean, I would say just the tournaments we get to play in. You know, it's very high competition week in and week out, and it's very helpful, and it's going to prepare me a lot for the future, so that's been nice.
Well, okay, and speaking of tournaments, let's fast forward to your spring season. You start out opening in Florida around Valentine's Day. Tell me how you're preparing for that.
Yeah, we actually got a few weeks off after our last tournament in the fall, but with our brand new indoor facility, it's nice to be able to work on days like today in the cold, and so we're doing a lot of short game stuff to prepare for this spring and try to work on that moving forward.
Are there any places that stand out in your schedule for the spring season that you're really excited about?
Yeah, we get to go to Cabo in the middle of the spring. I think it's March, and that's always a fun trip to go to. That was my first time last year to go, and it was a good tournament, good trip.
That's awesome. And what are you improving on mainly for the season coming up?
For me, it's just some putting stuff. My putting stats weren't as well as I would have liked them to be, and I could have turned a couple of those top 15 finishes, maybe top 5 and a win. So I'm looking forward this spring to get a win.
Well, good. Okay, and what is your ultimate dream / goal that you want to achieve when you get older and you get out of college? Where do you want to go from here?
Yeah, I would like to play the PGA Tour, kind of spend my life on that, my career being on the PGA Tour. That's kind of what I've always dreamt of, and that's what I plan on doing.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Ty and Megan.
Thanks, Ellen and Taylor. Our roundtable discussion is next. One of the topics is our women's golf team.
And that leads us to our final trivia question. Stacy Lewis, who's the #1 ranked women's golfer in the world, graduated from Arkansas in 2008 with a degree in what? Journalism, interior design, finance and accounting, or communications? The answer when we come back.
Welcome back. Now the answer to our final trivia question. Stacy Lewis, who's the #1 ranked women's golfer in the world, graduated from Arkansas with a degree in what? The answer is finance and accounting in 2008.
That degree will serve her well as she has made about $9 million so far in her career on the LPGA Tour.
Speaking of women's golf, that is the topic #1 in our roundtable discussion. For that, we send it over to Connor Barbie.
Thanks, guys. Here we are with the roundtable discussion. I'm joined with Viviana Mian and Leah Blefko. So yeah, like she said, we're going to talk a little bit about women's golf. So far, we've had a great season in the fall.
Yeah, the women's golf team, they've had 1 first-place win, 2 second-place wins, and a 5th place. And I think this is going to set, the team up for a really good spring season.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's also interesting to note that earlier in the season, before the 5th place finish, that the women were ranked #1 in the country, which is very significant. Now they're ranked #7 by Golf Week, and that has a lot to do with the coaching and with Stacy Lewis, because she has donated over $100,000 to the program, and she helps coach some of the younger players, which shows our progression. And even though the team is young this year, they do have a couple of junior leaders.
They do. They have Gabby Lopez and Regina Plasencia, both who are Mexican golfers who have played for the Mexican national team several times. And I think that experience in playing internationally really brings a little bit of an advantage to the golf team, but also to any team, really. For example, the men's tennis team, they have players from Colombia, the Netherlands, even Mexico as well. So being able to recruit players from different countries is really advantageous to any team.
Yeah, I think that's really good recruiting on Coach Andy Jackson's part, really getting players internationally, bringing diversity to the team.
You're correct, and Coach Andy Jackson has done such a great job in his 29 years of coaching. He has, in 22 years, has led all his teams consecutive NCAA tournaments. So that really speaks volumes to what kind of coach he is right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's interesting to note that Coach Jackson took over a Florida team in 2001 that went 9-17 in their first year, and then in 2 seasons he took them to the SEC tournament, to the SEC title. So last year we were 13-16, so maybe next season or the season after that we can get a conference championship under our belt.
I'm really hoping so. They are working so hard this year, and their season doesn't start until January 9th, but they're definitely going to try and get some matches under their belt and kind of take a run for that SEC tournament.
Also on January 9th, another big event for Razorbacks will be the opening of the women's gymnastics season. They will be in Norman, Oklahoma, taking on OU. I think this year is going to be a very transitional year for them. They're going to be, they have not as many returners. They have, 1 head coach just in the position. by himself without some of the assistant coaches that now are at different universities.
You're right, and like you said, it was a transition year. They lost two-time national champion Catherine Grable, and she kind of really set the bar for this gymnastics team.
She definitely did. She brought Arkansas their first NCAA championship, which I think is going to set up also for the team to be successful in the future. This year, as there aren't as many returners, there is Amanda Wellick, who is a sophomore this year, who qualified for the NCAA championship this past year and was the 2014 SEC Freshman of the Year. Also returning, Samantha Nelson, also a sophomore. She was 2014 All-SEC team and SEC All-Freshman team.
Yeah, I think youth is kind of one of the commonalities that we've talked about throughout each sport, but also one thing is tough schedules, as gymnastics is starting with the defending national champions, Oklahoma. And speaking of tough schedules, what about the Razorbacks playing LSU this weekend?
What do we think? Do you think they're going to bring the boot back?
I'm hoping they bring the boot back. It's been several years. We can go back to 2010 when we had the boot back in Arkansas. So I'm just hoping, this game, the end of the season, gives us a little bit of momentum going into Ole Miss. So I'm thinking we could probably get a W this weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting to note that the 5 games that we've lost this season have been against teams that were currently ranked in the top 10. And since LSU is not ranked in the top 10, hopefully we can beat them and get some momentum and get that coveted bowl game appearance.
Absolutely. I think this season, or this game especially, Corliss Marshall returning, he's been practicing this week, so we'll see if he makes it into the game or not. I think that'll help speed up the play of game. And also, LSU has a very similar running game like ours, so I think the game will be quick, and it's just going to be the matter of who can, deliver the ball better. But I think the cold will be on our side as an advantage.
I agree with that. Well, that just about wraps up our roundtable discussion. As I said earlier, I was joined with Leah Blefko and Viviana Mian, and I'm Connor Barbie. Back to you guys.
If you're a Razorback sports fan, you're going to love this weekend. There's a lot happening on campus.
As we mentioned earlier, the cross-country regionals begin Friday at 11 a.m. at Agri Park. Here's what else is going on. Also at 11 a.m. Friday, Jimmy Dykes and the women's basketball team takes on Nichols. And then at 7, the volleyball squad hosts Auburn. Saturday, the football team is looking to pull off the big upset as it hosts LSU. And then there are 2 basketball games on Sunday. The women host Savannah State at 1, while the men take on Alabama State at 4. Hope to see you out there cheering on the Hogs. That'll do it for Razorback 411. I'm Megan Bedenikovic.
And I'm Ty Richardson. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.